Noah, I need you to do something for me.
Sure. What is it?
No preparation. No thinking. Just answer immediately.
Those 3 sentences together are never good news.
Ready?
Fine.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm Noah. I do this, the podcast. I have a plant.
You have a plant.
His name is Bernard. He is a very resilient plant. I've almost killed him 4 times, and he keeps coming back.
Bernard, the unkillable plant.
He has survived things. He is stronger than me. But I'm serious. Why did my brain just leave? I talk for a living. I know who I am, and yet tell me about yourself and everything just vanishes.
Because that question is genuinely one of the hardest things to answer in any language. And in a second language, it is even harder. And if you have ever frozen when someone asked you that, if you have ever ended up saying, I am a hard worker and I love meeting new people, and then immediately felt embarrassed, this episode is for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Enjoy English with Noah, the podcast where real English meets real life. I'm Noah.
And I'm Mia. And today we are talking about one of the most important skills in English that nobody teaches you properly. How to talk about yourself. Not robotically, not from a job application, not like you're reading a script, but naturally, warmly, like a real person who has a real story. This is a B2 to C1 level episode. The language is more natural and layered, but we explain everything clearly as we go. And by the end, you will have real sentences you can use immediately. Not memorize. Use. And at the end, our upgraded word tour. 10 vocabulary words today. Every single one explained, practiced slowly, and shown inside real sentences. But first, our comment challenge. Write 1 sentence about yourself in the comments. Start with one of these. I'm the kind of person who, or something I'm passionate about is, or one thing people don't know about me is, just 1 sentence. We read every single one.
And if you want to mention a resilient houseplant, we also accept that.
Bernard is always welcome. Okay, Noah, why is tell me about yourself so hard?
Okay, I have been thinking about this, and I think there are 2 reasons. The first one is the question has no shape.
No shape? What do you mean?
When someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" the question has a boundary. Yesterday. I know where to start and where to stop. But tell me about yourself. Where do I begin? Do I start from birth? Do I mention my job? My family? My very resilient plant?
Bernard has earned his mention. But yes, the question feels infinite. And when something feels infinite, the brain panics.
And the second reason is self-consciousness.
Self-conscious. Being very aware of yourself. How you sound, how you look, what the other person is thinking.
Yes! When someone asks about you, suddenly you are both the speaker and the audience. You are talking and watching yourself talk at the same time.
And judging yourself while you speak. Am I saying too much? Am I boring them? Do I sound arrogant? Should I have mentioned Bernard?
Bernard is never the wrong choice. But yes, that double layer of speaking while judging yourself is exhausting. And for English learners, there is a third layer on top. You're thinking about what to say and how to say it in English at the same time. 3 things happening at once. No wonder the brain leaves. And I want to say this clearly. That frozen feeling is completely normal. Native English speakers feel it too. It is not a sign that your English is bad. It is a sign that you're human. And talking about yourself is a skill. And like any skill, you can learn it.
Practice it. Get better at it. So today, that is exactly what we are going to do. Step by step, section by section, starting with the very first moment, the introduction.
Okay, the introduction. You meet someone new. The version most people learned in school sounds like this. Hello, my name is Noah. I am 33 years old. I work in podcasting. I live in a flat.
And then a silence so heavy, everyone just looks at the floor.
Because there is nothing to hold on to, no thread, no open door, just facts.
And a good introduction is not about facts. It is about giving the other person a thread to pull.
A thread to pull. I love that phrase. Like one small detail that makes the other person think, oh, tell me more.
Exactly. The detail doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Something specific. Something human.
Like, I'm Noah. I'm originally from a small town, but I've been living in this city for about 5 years now, which still surprises me a little.
See? Which still surprises me a little. That tiny addition makes everything feel real. Now the other person wants to know, why does it surprise you? What's different? The conversation moves.
Or, I'm Mia. I grew up in Portugal, but I've been living abroad for a few years now, which means I spend a lot of time looking for good pastéis de nata outside of Lisbon.
That is very accurate. And now I want to talk about pastéis de nata for the next 40 minutes. The introduction worked.
The formula is simple. Your name, one sentence about your background or current life, one small human detail that opens a door.
And the goal of an introduction is not to be impressive. The goal is to make the other person feel comfortable and curious.
And comfortable and curious is always more powerful than impressive and intimidating.
Let's do both versions. Basic first, then natural. Same person, different feeling.
Basic version. Hello, I'm Noah. I'm from England. I work in audio. I make podcasts.
Nice to meet you.
Nothing to follow up on. Natural version. Hey, I'm Noah. I grew up in a small town in the north of England, which meant the moment I moved to a big city, everything felt slightly overwhelming and extremely exciting at the same time.
I ended up in audio, podcasts mostly, which honestly suits me because I've always thought better out loud than on paper. Now I want to know, which city? What was overwhelming? What kind of podcasts? The thread is there. I just need to pull it. Same person. Same facts. But now there is a story inside the introduction. Okay, now the conversation is moving. And someone asks, so what's your background? Or how would you describe yourself as a person? 2 questions that have defeated me at least several hundred times. Let's fix that. For background, the key is tell a short story, not a list, because a list sounds like a form and a story sounds like a person. So instead of, I studied design, I worked at an agency for 3 years, now I am freelance. You say, I studied design, which I loved. There was something really satisfying about solving visual problems. I worked at an agency for a while, but eventually I ended up going freelance, which was terrifying and the best decision I ever made.
Same information. But now there is a feeling inside it, which I loved. Terrifying and the best decision. Those small additions are what make your background sound like yours. And for personality, this is where most people go completely flat. They say, I'm a hard worker. I'm very passionate. I'm a people person. The 3 most meaningless sentences in the English language, said by every person in every interview in every country.
Nobody connects with, I'm a people person, because it tells you nothing. What does that even look like? What does it feel like?
The secret is show. Don't just tell. Instead of saying, I'm curious, say something that shows your curiosity.
Like, I'm the kind of person who falls down rabbit holes. I'll look something up to check one fact, and 40 minutes later I'm reading about the history of something I didn't know existed an hour ago.
That is much more interesting than I'm curious, because now I can see you. I can imagine you at your desk at midnight reading about something completely unexpected.
That happens. Bernard has witnessed it. And the phrase, I'm the kind of person who, is one of the most powerful phrases for describing personality naturally.
Because it doesn't just label you, it shows a small scene, a small habit, a small truth.
And you don't have to only show your strengths. Showing something a little imperfect actually makes you more likable, because nobody connects with someone who sounds perfect.
We connect with people who feel human, people who have little quirks, people who are a bit of a mess sometimes and are honest about it.
3 personality descriptions. Flat version, then vivid version.
Flat. I'm organized.
Vivid. I'm the kind of person who color codes things that probably don't need color coding. My calendar has 7 different categories. My friends find it either impressive or deeply concerning.
Flat. I'm shy at first.
Vivid. I tend to be pretty quiet when I first meet people. I'm listening more than I'm talking. But once I feel comfortable, I warm up quickly, and people are sometimes surprised by how different I seem.
Flat. I'm passionate about my work.
Vivid. I'm genuinely passionate about what I do. Not in a rehearsed way, but in the way where I'll keep thinking about a problem, even after I've closed my laptop. Bernard has seen me pace around the flat at 11 p.m., talking to myself about audio. Bernard knows everything. He is very discreet. Okay, hobbies. This is where people either come alive or go completely flat.
The flat version is, I like reading, I like cooking, I like going for walks, and then the other person nods politely and changes the subject.
Because there is nothing to hold on to. No thread, just labels.
But if you talk about your hobbies the way you actually feel about them, everything changes. The formula is name it, add feeling, add one specific detail.
So instead of, I like cooking, you say, I'm really into cooking. Not fancy cooking, just the kind where you make something simple and it actually works out and you feel quietly proud of yourself for about 10 minutes.
The quiet 10 minutes of pride. I know that feeling exactly.
It is very specific and very real. And the phrase, I'm passionate about, is perfect when something really matters to you. Not just something you enjoy, something that genuinely excites you.
So, I like running tells me one thing, but I'm passionate about running. Specifically, early morning runs when the city is still quiet and it feels like the day belongs to you before anyone else claims it. That tells me everything.
And now I want to go for a run.
At 6 a.m.
In the cold.
The power of specificity. Now, goals. This is where people get vulnerable. Because talking about your goals means letting people see what you want, and then immediately thinking, what if I don't reach it? What if they judge me?
what if I sound naive?
And that fear stops so many people from putting themselves out there.
Putting yourself out there. Sharing something real about yourself, even when it feels a little risky.
And the key to talking about goals confidently is connecting your goal to your why. Not just, I want to start a business, but I want to start a business because I want to build something that actually helps people, not just something that looks good on paper.
Goals with a why invite dialogue. Goals without a why just sit there.
And you don't have to have everything figured out. It is completely okay to say, I'm not totally sure yet, but I know I want to move in this direction. That is honest. And honest is always more compelling than rehearsed. I'll describe a hobby and a goal. Noah, tell me if it sounds flat or vivid. Ready. Hobby. I'm really into plants, actually. Not in a serious botanical way, more in a, I talk to them quietly when nobody is watching.
And that fear stops so many people from putting themselves out there. Vivid, very vivid, and very relatable. Bernard and I understand this deeply.
Goal. Something I'm working towards is writing more. Not because I want to be a writer exactly, more because writing is the way I figure out what I actually think. Without it, I just have a lot of half-finished thoughts floating around.
That is exactly what a goal with a why sounds like. You told me the goal, writing more. You told me the why, it's how I figure out what I think. And you gave it a small human image. Half-finished thoughts floating around. Now I want to ask, what do you write? Where do you start? The thread is there.
Okay. Last section before the phrase groups. And this one, I think, is the one people struggle with most. How do you talk about yourself without sounding arrogant?
Because the fear of sounding arrogant is what makes a lot of people undersell themselves.
They say, oh, I'm nothing special, when they are special. They apologize for their accent, when their accent is part of who they are. They say, I'm not that good yet, when they have actually worked incredibly hard.
And the difference between confidence and arrogance is actually very simple. Confident people talk about what they have done. Arrogant people make it sound like they are better than everyone else because of it.
So there is a huge difference between I'm really proud of what I've built and I'm the best at what I do.
One feels grounded. The other makes people slowly look for the exit.
Very quietly, very politely, but definitely looking. And the phrase, I'm really proud of, is one of the most useful phrases for confident, humble communication. Humble, grounded, not arrogant, but also not putting yourself down. Knowing your value without making others feel small. And one thing I've learned about myself is another brilliant phrase, because it shows self-awareness. And self-awareness is immediately more interesting than perfection.
Self-awareness means you understand yourself, your strengths, your patterns, the things you are still working on.
Like, one thing I've learned about myself is that I work much better when I have a clear deadline. Otherwise, I just research things endlessly and never quite start. Bernard has watched me do this many times.
Bernard is so patient. And notice, that is not a weakness. It is self-knowledge. And self-knowledge is attractive in a conversation. It makes people trust you.
Because people who know themselves tend to be easier to talk to. They are not performing. They are just being.
3 versions: underselling, overselling, and confident and grounded.
topic. You've been learning English for 2 years and you've made a lot of progress.
Underselling. Oh, I'm not very good yet. My English is still pretty basic. Sorry if I make mistakes.
Overselling? My English is basically fluent now. I learn very fast. I'm probably better than most people who've studied longer.
The exit is that way.
Confident and grounded. I've been working on my English for about 2 years now, and I'm genuinely proud of how far I've come. There are still things I'm working on. I want to sound more natural in conversation, but I'm at a point where I can express myself clearly, and that feels really good.
That is exactly it. Proud of the progress, honest about what's next. No apology, no performance. Just you. Okay, now 5 groups of ready-to-use phrases. These are not scripts. They are tools. Take the ones that feel like you and make them yours. Group 1, introductions. Hey, I'm Mia. I grew up in Portugal, but I've been living abroad for a few years now.
I'm Noah. I'm originally from a small town, which people can usually tell from my total inability to cross a busy road calmly.
I'm based in London at the moment, but I think of myself as someone who is always in the middle of figuring out where home actually is.
I work in audio, podcasts mostly, which means I spend a lot of time thinking about how things sound, which is either a skill or a problem depending on who you ask. Notice, every one of those has a thread, something small and real that invites a follow-up. Group 2, background. I studied psychology, which I loved. There's something about understanding why people do what they do that I find genuinely fascinating. I ended up in teaching completely by accident, and it turned out to be one of the best accidents of my life. I've worn a lot of hats over the years, different industries, different roles, and honestly, I think each one taught me something the others couldn't.
I have a background in engineering, but these days I'm more focused on the human side of things, how people actually use what gets built. Group 3, personality. I'm the kind of person who takes forever to make a decision, but then feels completely certain once I've made it. I tend to be pretty quiet when I first meet people. I'm listening more than I'm talking, but I warm up quickly once I feel comfortable. People say I'm easy to talk to, which I hope is true and not just something people say to be polite. One thing I've learned about myself is that I need a little quiet time to recharge. I love people, but I also love the moment when everyone goes home. Group 4, hobbies and interests. I'm really into cooking. Not fancy cooking, just the kind where something simple works out and you feel quietly proud of yourself for about 10 minutes. I'm passionate about music, specifically finding artists that feel completely unknown and then feeling irrationally possessive about them when other people discover them. I've recently gotten into running, which surprised me because I was the person who said running is not for me for approximately 15 years. Photography is kind of my way of slowing down. In a normal day, everything moves so fast, but when I have a camera, I actually look at things. Group 5, goals and dreams. Something I'm working towards this year is getting better at saying no, which sounds small, but is actually one of the harder things I've tried to do. I'd love to live in a different country for a while one day, not forever, just long enough to think differently about things. I'm at a point where I want to do work that actually matters to me, not just work that looks good from the outside. One day, I want to write a book. I have no idea what it will be about yet, but the feeling is very strong, and I've learned to trust that kind of feeling. Take any of those, change the details, make them yours. That is all you need to do. Okay, let's bring today together.
Talking about yourself is a skill, and skills get better with practice. You don't need a perfect speech. You need a few real sentences and the courage to begin.
Give people a thread to pull, one small, honest detail that opens a door.
Tell a story, not a list. Your background should sound like a journey, not a form.
Show your personality. Don't just label it. I'm the kind of person who is your most powerful phrase.
Talk about your hobbies with feeling and detail. Name it. Add feeling. Add one specific thing.
Connect your goals to your why. Goals with a why invite dialogue. Goals without a why just sit there.
And be confident enough to share and humble enough to listen. That is the version of yourself that everyone wants to keep talking to.
And if you freeze, remember Bernard.
He has survived 4 near-death experiences, and he keeps growing.
Bernard is a metaphor now. I did not plan that, but I accept it.
You can survive this conversation. You can grow from it. You are Bernard.
The most motivational thing anyone has ever said to me. Don't forget, write in the comments. I'm the kind of person who we want to read every one.
And now, our upgraded word tour. 10 words today. Everyone explained, practiced slowly, and shown in real sentences.
Our first word is self-conscious. Being very aware of yourself, how you sound, how you look, what others think of you.
Say it slowly. Self-conscious. Self-conscious.
Self-conscious is an adjective. I feel self-conscious. She became self-conscious during the presentation. It's natural to feel self-conscious in a new situation.
The noun is self-consciousness. Self-consciousness makes it hard to speak naturally.
3 real sentences. I feel self-conscious when I speak English in front of new people. The more I practice, the less self-conscious I feel. It's okay to feel self-conscious. It means you care. Warm. So instead of I feel nervous about how I sound, say I feel a bit self-conscious. More natural, more precise.
Our second phrase is first impression. The feeling or opinion someone forms about you the very first time they meet you. Say it slowly. First impression. First impression. A first impression is not your whole personality. It is just the first feeling people get from your words, your tone, and your energy. 3 real sentences. I want to make a good first impression at the interview. Her first impression of him was that he was quiet, but very thoughtful. First impressions matter, but they can always be changed. Warm.
So instead of the first time they meet you, say the first impression you make. It sounds more confident and more aware.
Our third word is background. Your personal history, where you grew up, what you studied, what shaped you.
Say it slowly. Background. Background.
Background is broader than just your country. It includes your education, your work experience, your culture, and the experiences that made you who you are.
3 real sentences. My background is in marketing, but I've recently moved into product design. We come from very different backgrounds, but we have a lot in common. My background has given me a different way of seeing this problem.
So instead of where I'm from and what I studied, say my background. One word. Much more natural.
Our fourth phrase is come across. How you appear to other people. The impression your words and tone create.
Say it slowly. Come across. Come across.
Come across is not about what you mean inside. It is about how people receive you. You might mean to be direct, but come across as rude. You might mean to be confident, but come across as arrogant.
3 real sentences. I want to come across as confident, but approachable. She comes across as very warm and easy to talk to. I'm not sure how I came across in that meeting. I was nervous.
So instead of I want to seem confident, say I want to come across as confident. That is the natural phrase. Our fifth phrase is passionate about. Feeling strong interest, excitement, or love for something. More than just liking it. Say it slowly. Passionate about. Passionate about. Passionate about tells the listener, this matters to me. I invest time in this. Ask me more. It is much stronger than I like. The noun is passion. Music is a real passion of mine. The adjective is passionate. She is a passionate teacher. 3 real sentences. I'm passionate about language learning. I find it genuinely fascinating. He's passionate about street photography. He could talk about it for hours. I'm passionate about this project in a way I haven't felt about work in a long time. So instead of I really like this, say I'm passionate about it, and then add one specific detail to show why. Our 6th word is humble, grounded, not arrogant.
Knowing your value without making others feel small. Say it slowly.
Humble. Humble. Humble does not mean putting yourself down. That is a common mistake. Humble means I know what I've done, and I still have a lot to learn. The noun is humility. She leads with humility. The adverb is humbly. He spoke humbly about his success. 3 real sentences. She is very successful, but she stays humble. I'm proud of my progress, and I try to stay humble about how much further I can go. Being humble doesn't mean being quiet, it means being grounded. So instead of, I'm not that good, try being confident and humble. They are not opposites. They belong together. Our 7th phrase is, put yourself out there. To show yourself, express yourself, or share something real, even when it feels a little risky. Say it slowly. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Putting yourself out there doesn't mean being loud. Sometimes it just means saying one honest sentence when you usually stay quiet. 3 real sentences. Joining an English conversation group helped me put myself out there. She put herself out there by sharing her goal with the team. It felt scary to put myself out there, but I'm glad I did. So instead of, I shared something scary, say, I put myself out there. It sounds brave, because it is. Our 8th phrase is, warm up. To become more relaxed, comfortable, or open after a little time. Say it slowly. Warm up. Warm up. Warm up is useful when you're describing your personality, especially if you are quiet at first, but more open once you feel comfortable. 3 real sentences. I'm quiet at first, but I warm up quickly once I feel comfortable. He warmed up after a few minutes and started joining the conversation. It takes me a little while to warm up in new situations. So instead of, I become more relaxed after a while, say, I warm up quickly once I feel comfortable. Much more natural. Our 9th phrase is, working towards. Making effort and progress step by step toward a goal. Say it slowly. Working towards. Working towards. Working towards sounds active. It shows you are not just dreaming, you are doing something, even something small. 3 real sentences. I'm working towards speaking English more naturally in everyday conversation. She's been working towards starting her own business for 2 years. I'm working towards something I can't fully describe yet, but I know what direction feels right. So instead of, I want to achieve this one day, say, I'm working towards it. One small word, towards, makes everything sound real.
And our final word, confidence. The word at the heart of today's episode.
Confidence means trusting yourself enough to speak, to try, and to continue, even when you are not perfect.
Say it slowly. Confidence. Confidence.
The adjective is confident. She answered confidently. The adverb is confidently. He spoke confidently despite feeling nervous.
3 real sentences. The more I practice, the more confidence I feel. Confidence is not about sounding perfect. It's about continuing despite imperfection. She answered the question with calm, quiet confidence.
And remember, confidence is not the absence of nervousness. It is continuing despite it. That is real confidence.
And those are our 10 words for today. Self-conscious, first impression, background, come across, passionate about, humble, put yourself out there, warm up, working towards, confidence.
10 words, 1 truth. You don't need one perfect answer. You need a few real sentences, a few honest details, and the confidence to begin.
Give people a thread to pull. Tell a story, not a list. Show your personality. Don't just label it. And be confident enough to share and humble enough to listen.
And if you freeze, remember Bernard. Almost killed 4 times. Still going. You are Bernard.
I want that on a poster. Tell us in the comments. I'm the kind of person who... We read every single one.
If today's episode helped you, please subscribe to Enjoy English with Noah and share this with one person who needs to hear it.
Take care of your English.
And take care of yourself.
This is Mia.
And this is Noah.
You've been listening to Enjoy English with Noah. See you in the next one.